Hello, this is Walter with Sinew and Steel, and what we're going to talk today is concerning racking the barbell or receiving it in a rack position. This is very important because a lot of times those of us that do Olympic lifting kind of might take it for granted that there is really a certain amount of technique in being able to rack a kettlebell. And basically when I talk about racking a kettlebell, I mean holding it in this position like this. Now a lot of people, when they do front squats, will do front squats like this, which is okay, but it eliminates some other things that you can do with a barbell, such as being able to do cleans and push presses and jerks and other exercises like that. So if you can learn how to rack a barbell properly, it's going to make it more comfortable for you to hold the bar in a proper position for front squats without having the bar jam against your throat or smack into your collarbones when you're doing cleans and push presses or jerks and other exercises like that. So if you're finding it hard to rack the barbell properly, there's probably some things that are going wrong. But first, you're going to need some flexibility in your wrists. So what you can do is just bend your hands back like that, but go gently. You don't want to stretch it out too much because you can injure this. So take your time and kind of get a little more flexibility built up there. And one of the things you do is put some weight on your bar, get your hands underneath here, and then lift up against your bar like that, and get comfortable being in that position. One of the mistakes a lot of people think that they need to do is that they got to grab the bar and hold it in their hands and be able to rack it. And some people can do that, some can't. So there's nothing wrong with letting the bar roll out to your fingertips. So you see some of the flexibility is in getting my elbows up and out in front of me and in my wrist, but also in my fingers, because there's more flexibility here also. So that's one of the tricks, is letting it roll on your fingertips. And then if you're going to do a push press or a jerk, it doesn't matter, I'm not gripping the bar, because as soon as the bar shoots up from my drive, I can re-grip the bar like that. So it's no big deal. Another way to get a little more flexible is to put some plates on the bar. I don't have any plates on the bar right now because I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. If I have a big plate there, you're not going to see what's going on with my arms. So you can grab the bar, put some weights on it, and get your arm into this position. And I'm just by myself, so I'd press up like this to try to create more flexibility. But if you've got a training partner, get in this position under your bar and have them press up on both your elbows, but not too hard. Just have them do that gradually and talk to one another so they don't hurt you. Now the thing is if you rack and receiving the barbell in this rack position isn't good, when you start to front squat, the weight will swing forward and you'll lose it. It's very easy to get away from because you can just push it away from you. But that's why you want to have a really good rack position with the barbell. One of the things that people do is, in order to do, is not only do they try to grab the bar rather than let it roll out to their fingertips, but they'll have their elbows out like this. And there could be some various reasons for that. One thing is if you do a lot of push-ups, a lot of bench presses, your internal rotators, this area all in here is probably tight. If you sit at a computer a lot, or you drive a lot, read books a lot, you kind of rotate it like this, internally. And this is internal rotation, this is external rotation. Think about it, your humerus bone here, your upper arm, when it rotates inward, that's internal rotation, and the opposite way is, of course, is external. It doesn't really matter whether my arm's going like this or that so much. So when we think about racking barbell, if I'm having a hard time racking it, my arms are way out like this could be too tight, because if you notice, in order for me to get my elbow out front where it needs to be, as I swing my arm in, see what happens? My humerus or upper arm bone has to rotate externally. For some people, they might have the barbell racked and their fingers actually touching their shoulders. But if I can rack a little bit wider, as you see me do that, you see I have to rotate externally even more. So to begin with, if you're having difficulty racking a barbell properly and doing a front squat, number one, practice your goblet squat so you can have really good form. You can use a weight plate or a kettlebell, and you want to be able to squat really deep and get comfortable with that in this position down here. There's a lot of information online that you can find about how to do goblet squats, but you want a nice long extended spine, you want to get pressurized, you want to be tight, you want to drive straight up into the weight. So if you're having difficulty with front squats, you might want to practice goblet squats for a while, so first you can get the flexibility to get deeper and to keep your body more upright. The other problem could be, if you're having problems in the bottom, is your hip flexors could be too tight, so do some hip flexor stretches to stretch them out. You want to be able to pull yourself down into the hole, and one way you can practice that is just hook a light kettlebell on your foot and lift your foot up in the air like this, and think about how that feels in here, which muscles you're actually using to pull your leg up like that. So then when you go into your front squat, back squat, kettlebell, goblet squat, whatever, use those muscles to pull yourself down deep into the hole. And then once you get down there, get really tight again and power up, drive in through the weight. That's the thing with the racking the barbell properly. If you don't have it racked properly and you're way down in this position, and if you're like this and you start to drive up, it's going to pull you forward, you're going to drop it. Whereas if you can keep it racked properly, you can drive directly up into the weight. The same thing is true in having a good rack if you're going to do push presses or jerks. If I can't get in this good position here and rack the barbell properly, it's going to be more like this. So as I dip straight down to drive up, I'm going to lose all my power in my arms because the weight's going to push my arms down lower. So I'll dip and I'll drive and I'll go like that. No good. So when I dip down and drive straight up, the transfer of energy is through my torso directly into the bar. As you can see, the bar is resting on my deltoids. My shoulders aren't back. If I try to keep my shoulders back, the bar is going to jam into my neck and my throat. So I should be able to do a front squat like this. If my shoulders are forward, it keeps the bar more away from my neck. So this is a good way to practice it, because you have to stay upright or you're going to lose the bar. And I can go down in my squat, front squat position. Again, if I pull the bar back, it goes into my throat. So there we go. That's one way to practice your rack position without your hands in the bar. Then you can get used to it like this. And one other little trick is, once you're in the bottom, when I first start coming up, to help me keep a long spine, is I'm going to try to force my elbows higher into the bar. And that accomplishes several things. It helps me elongate my spine. It keeps me from dumping the barbell to the front because I lost my balance. And it helps me drive up under and into the bar so I can wedge into it better. So you can practice those things with your racking of the barbell for your front squat and your push presses. Keep those things in mind. It's actually resting on your deltoid, not your clavicles and not your throat. So